What's going on, guys? It's Brent, and today is a special day because I've been gone for a couple of months, but behind me is something that I've been working to get my whole life. So today I want to introduce you to Tsuki. So with me being a massive Miata guy, everybody knows that the ND is kind of the ultimate Miata, to be honest with you, as far as how much power it's got. It's steering wheel drive, you can still get it in a manual. And today I'm here to talk about my bad financial decision that is this car. To go over this car briefly, it is a 2024 Mazda MX-5 Miata Sport, optioned with the 6-speed manual transmission. With it being a 2024, that means it's an ND3. So it is the first year of the ND3. And with the ND3, you get a couple of different things. The ND3 gets you these updated front daytime running lights, and it also gets these LED rear tail lights. What it's also going to get you is the ND3's electronic power steering rack has been tuned to have less resistance in the steering to the wheel. So therefore, it feels a little bit more like a regular power steering rack and pinion rather than an electronic rack and pinion. I love this car, and I bought it on an impulse. For some odd reason, I signed up for a $35,000 loan on an impulse. The story behind this car, I saw it on one of the local dealerships here in Boise, saw it on their website. They weren't asking too much money for the car. Some of these cars can actually get pretty dang expensive, especially if you go for the Club Sport or the RF, which is going to be the factory hardtop option. But this one, as it sits, MSRP was around $30,000. Now, of course, you add taxes and things like that. That's where we come to the $35,000. What do you get for $35,000? Like I said, you get an all-new updated headlight and tail light system, as well as a tuned rack and pinion. You get your regular factory Mazda shocks. You don't get the Bilstein shocks. You don't get the Brembo brakes, and you don't get the BBS wheels that come on these things on the Club Sport trim. This specific Miata has factory 5% tint on the windows and a tracker that was installed by the dealership, which I am still debating on if I want to leave it in the car or not. Everything else on this car is completely stock. I've had it since November, and it is February. The only thing I've done to it is I put this Mazda sticker there, and I put the R-Speed sticker there on the window. And the reason being is because a couple of years ago I had a first year NA, or a first gen, the one with the pop-ups, and those have this Mazda sticker on the front. The R-Speed sticker is because I'm originally from Georgia. R-Speed is a performance supplier of Miata parts, and they're based out of Smyrna, Georgia. Now, these wheels, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are new for the ND3. I don't believe these wheels are on the ND2. You get 16-inch wheels with 195 width tires on the front and the back. We have a squared setup. Miatas have always been square. They've never had a staggered setup as far as I know. So under the hood, you're going to get a 2-liter 4-cylinder. This particular 4-cylinder is direct injection, like most newer 4-cylinders and engines in general are these days. And that's pretty much it. There's a whole lot of room under here for activities, if you know what I mean. But other than that, it looks like pretty much any other Miata under the hood. This valve cover is very reminiscent of the older Miatas. This engine is exactly the same as it was. Coming over here, you're going to have your brake and clutch master cylinders, as well as the slave cylinder is down on the transmission, just as it was in previous model years. Coming into the interior of the Miata, you're going to have, in the sport trim, you're going to get cloth seats, cloth floor mats on both sides. You're going to get a leather wrapped steering wheel. If you option it, you will have the 6-speed manual gearbox, as well as your typical climate controls. Here you do have Android and Apple CarPlay up here on the top. For the power windows, you're going to get power down on both sides via the driver switch. However, you do not get power up, so you're going to have to do manual on going up on the windows. You have the standard Mazda switch here in the middle, as well as a center console and your 2 cup holders back here, as well as a little cubby for storage there. The soft top is as simple as it's always been. Just flip this little switch, the windows go down, and the top goes back with one hand. The ND kind of has always been the same, but you do not get a glove box on this, hence why you have this storage cubby behind you. The dash is pretty much the same as it always has been. On the higher trims, you're going to get paint matched door seals here at the top to match your exterior color. This particular one, we've got gloss black trim seals here on the climate control. Enough of the specifics behind the car, right? Because you can look those up all day long. What's it like owning this thing? Just from an outside opinion, I love this car. I have wanted one since they were revealed in 2015 and came out in 2016. These cars are something that will last the test of time, in my opinion. They're going to be classics. I love this thing to death. And in my opinion, this particular Miata is the perfect Miata. It's got everything you could ask for on a small, lightweight, rear-wheel drive, manual transmission car. You're going to get 187 horsepower in this particular model, and it's going to do what you need it to do. You don't need to go 150 million miles an hour in a Miata to have fun. If you've ever driven a Miata, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These things are fun just by driving them. Quite honestly, I don't ever see myself owning a different fun car than the Miata. I really do like this thing a lot. I will tell you, just like these things have always had issues with, it's a case-by-case basis. It depends on how you drive the car. This particular 6-speed manual transmission that is in these 4th gen Miatas was designed to be lightweight, just as they always have, but in doing so, we have to sacrifice some quality in certain places, and that comes in the transmission on this car. This particular car has about 5,000 miles on it, and in my next trip to the dealer, which will be here shortly to service this car, I am going to have to ask them to check the transmission, because, you know, I did take this car on a couple of long road trips, but I didn't expect it to be this soon, to be honest with you. But third and fourth gear in this car has already started to whine, which concerns me because I've read up on forum posts and everything in between, and it says that that's kind of the starting cause and the starting signs of this transmission going bad. From what I've read, the particular problems that these have is going to be the 3rd gear synchro in that transmission. The 3rd gear synchro essentially goes, and this car will lock you out of 3rd gear, and you can't go into 3rd gear, which is going to cause problems, obviously, if you're driving it, and if you're trying to rip through the mountains or something like that. However, I would say don't let that deter you from buying one. I had a 1st gen a couple of years ago. It had the short nose crank issue, where the crankshaft winds up nuking itself and destroying the motor because of the bolt on the front of the engine being too short. This is no exception. Cars are going to have issues just like anything, but I love Miatas too much not to own one. It's been a long time without having one in my life, and I don't ever see myself getting rid of this car no matter how many problems it gives me. I'm going to make a specific video talking about it, but I have a lot of plans for this car. I have a lot of plans, things I want to do with it. I'm really excited to be doing YouTube and to be making videos on it because it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time. So being able to actually have a car that is worth filming is something that I'm excited about. Just to name a few, we've got a few appearance things I want to do as far as doing the appearance package on this car, the front lip, the side skirts, and the rear diffuser, redoing the rear ducktail with one from Carbon Miata, potentially blacking out the chrome badges just because the rest of the car is black, so I feel like it would fit. Smoked side markers here. I believe these things are great. They do what they're supposed to, but they kind of just stick out. If I'm being honest, they kind of just make the side of the car, it's kind of an eyesore in my opinion, so I think a smoked side marker is going to do really well on that front. As far as the interior goes, plan on doing some carpet additions, some different seat stuff. As much as I do love the cloth seats, I do believe that this car would benefit from some better seats. Like I said, I don't have any complaints about this car other than the potential transmission issues that this one is going to have. Again, I can't wait to start making videos on this car and getting better at doing this content because it's something I've always wanted to do, and quite frankly, I've never had the stones to actually get out and do it. With summer coming here in Idaho, finally, I am sick of the snow, I'm sick of the ice. I haven't been able to do anything fun with this car. I bought it in November, and I had planned on putting it in storage and keeping it there, and it's either where it's raining just barely nice enough, or it's completely snowing, and obviously we don't want to drive this car in the snow. So yeah, I would say look forward to a bunch of videos with this car. Again, I have plans. I have wheels and tires planned for this car. Eventually, Now, of course, I'm just a regular dude. I don't make $1 million a year, so it's going to be a slow process building this car. But again, it's something I want to do. Now, the only thing that I can't do on this car that I want to do is touch the internals of the car. And what I mean by that is going to be your brakes, your rotors, your suspension. And the reason being is because I do not want to void the factory warranty. And anybody thinking to yourself, well, you're a car guy. Why do you care about a warranty? I care about a warranty because the transmission in this car is $5,000, and I would like Mazda to pay to replace it if it goes out. So if I void the warranty on the car, then I am up a creek without a paddle, and I have to fork over that $5,000 to fix it. Other than that, man, this car has been great. It's got enough power for me to enjoy it, and quite frankly, I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you did, if you made it to the end, I thank you. Again, if you want to see more of this car, stick around. But yeah, that's it. See you guys later.